Resurgent India Knowledge Series presents virtual session on navigating the landscape of MSME financing, opportunities, and challenges. Moderator Mr. K. Gupta, Director, Resurgent India Limited. Eminent speakers: Mr. Ashok Kumar Pathak, Chief General Manager, Bank of India. Mr. D.S. Rajput, Chairman, South Asia Group of Companies. Mr. Rohit Katyal, Chief Business Officer, Commerce. Mr. Rajiv Puri, former Executive Director, Central Bank of India.
So, sir, you can start the webinar.
Good evening, friends. I am again your host, K. Gupta. I am a director in Research in India. Research in India is a merchant banker category number 1, and we are investment banker also. We are giving training to the bankers because we are conducting technical, economical, biology study. This is our important webinar under the series of Research in India. We are completed 199 webinar. Now this is our most important webinar of 200 series. We are now, this webinar is 200 under the SME sector. Under the Research in India banner, we have done different type of webinar of the demand of our members, of our associations, of the financial advisor of India, and our entrepreneurs, our banker friends, in respect of the SME sector, infrastructure, real estate. And today, we are a very eminent speaker with us, who has a long experience under the banking sector, our mentor, our guide, and our leader, Sri Rajiv Puri. He is ex-PD of Central Bank of India, and previously he was with the Punjab National Bank as Chief General Manager. We are with us Shri Ashok Kumar Pathak, who is the Chief General Manager with Bank of India. We are having most important our entrepreneur, Shri D.S. Rajput, Chairman, South Asia Group of Companies. So you will have a feeling, what the entrepreneur expects from the banking sector, and what banks are expecting from entrepreneurs. I think this is a critical webinar under this series. So when we are talking about the SME sector play a very important role. Either we talk about the export, employment, GDP. So around 40% of GDP is coming from the SME sector. When we are talking about a developed country like China or America, their SME sector is playing very important role. They are having a 60 or 70% of GDP. Export is also coming major portion from the SME sector. So friends, you are aware that definition of the SME sector undergo a change, where the investment in plant and machinery, that too is a depreciated value. If you are having a depreciated value of plant and machinery, 50 crore less, and annual turnover or 250 crore less, then you can classify yourself as a SME sector. The unfortunate part is that our 90% of the existing NVs, this SME sector are not registered with the Udyam Carta. Even the macro sector, which are playing very important role, and government also considering to reach to the rural places. And now the bank has also come to the co-lending scheme, where the co-lending is very helpful for the NBFC or for the bank to reach as a small place or a rural place to have a lending. The rural artisans, rural entrepreneurs are a most important aspect for the economy. Now we envisage that the 5 trillion economy can be achieved by 2025, for which it is expected that a 50% of GDP should come from the SME sector. Now you also aware that the definition also consider as a service sector or a manufacturing and even a trading concern, having a turnover of 250 crore less, they can also categorize themselves as a SME sector also. That means our retail sector, other things, they are also classified as that way you can take a entire talk of benefit. Even we are talking about the interest subsidy or capital subsidy or other benefit incentive you can have under this scheme. So I will not take much time because we are with us all eminent speaker with us who has a long experience in the banking sector field. So our mentor, our guides. I'm requesting Sri Rajiv Puri, who was ex-ED of Central Bank of India. So Sir Puri Sahab, you have such a long experience under the sector because sector is playing very important role for the development, for economic development. SME sector will play an important role. Have any view on that respect, in respect of co-lending, which are rural, because you dealt with all co-lending, you dealt with all the financial aspects. So how it is beneficial for the SME sector for a co-lending or any of views, because this is open platform we want to give your view regarding SME sector, how a banker feel. Because the banker, what I feel for entrepreneur in all of our webinar, because I have done it webinar on Friday also, the physical webinar was there. So I have done one webinar with the Bank of Maharashtra also, where the entrepreneur was telling about the collateral security also. Because you feel that up to 5 crore rupees, no collateral security required. Still banker was asking some collateral security. I think this aspect was taken into very consideration for that. Because I still feel if you are taking collateral security and your guarantee cover, whether guarantee cover will be available. Because the guarantee cover say very clearly, you should not have any collateral with you. Then it will be covered for that. So my viewpoint is, let me should be get your experience on the SME sector, because you have done a lot of work on a co-lending or a financial aspect of the SME sector. So I hand over to Mr. Puri to give his views in respect of co-lending and other aspect which he deemed fit, which is beneficial for our entrepreneurs. I think more than 1,000 registration with us, and people are watching you, sir, for the YouTube, for the Facebook, and other electronic mediums. So I request Mr. Puri, please give his thoughts. Mr. Puri.
Yeah, thank you, Guptaji, and I welcome Mr. Ashok and Mr. Rajpur, my co-panelists. Guptaji has been pioneer in this industry of coordinating bankers and industry people. So, rightly said that MSME is a big boost to the economy, and if India has to achieve anything, maybe 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 25 trillion, whatever dreams we are looking, without the cooperation and boost of the MSME, these things will not be possible. As on date, almost 63.4 million MSME units are working. But it's unfortunate, on our part, I will say that only out of this, almost 50 million are not having the formal credit. So like you are saying that what is the benefit of co-lending? I understand this thing very well that whatever the reach of NBFC is or microfinance companies is, that is not of a public sector bank or private banks. The niche of the customers or even the selection of the customer recovery mechanism, that is very effective for the NBFC, maybe due to the cost factor, maybe their efficiency, the tools they are using, their recovery mechanism is excellent. So I think you know that central bank has been pioneer in the industry as far as co-lending is concerned. So that is I think that will unlock the value of banking as well as the NBFCs. Because bankers are flush with the funds, there is no dearth of any money with the banks. And NBFC, there are limitations because banks normally have their own cash. Some banks are 15%, some are 20% of the total advances because they can't take much exposure. Maybe with the merger of HDFC, some room is now available with banks, but normally banks are not so open for the financing NBFC for the own lending. But as far as co-lending is concerned, that is very attractive thing, and banks are having more control on the security also, because we are having the collateral security, we are having a tripartite agreement, and without your consent, the security cannot be released. Even in MSME, if you are going for the unsecured loan, that is also safe. And recently, in the 8th June, RBI has given the permission for the fintech companies that you can take the FLDG. Rather, NBFC and banks' demand was that FLDG should be given to NBFC also in co-lending case, because in that case, there is some comfort that whatever, because there is a lot of gap between the rate of interest NBFC are charging and the rate of interest banks are charging to the NBFC. So that way, NBFC and banks as a together, as a partner, because 80% is the bank. So there is a good scope of co-lending to expand the MSME, and there is a lot of dearth as per WHO report. Almost 38 billion is required to be disbursed to MSME units. So that dearth can be met with the cooperation of NBFC and the banks as a whole. That is my view, Gupta, on co-lending.
Thank you very much, sir, Puri sir. I think co-lending is an important aspect what you are talking about. Lekin sir, for SME sector regarding collateral security, have any views for that, sir?
Yeah, I will say there is still phobia in the banking sector, and that phobia is person specific, I can say, because a lot of schemes have been, we have come out with the bankers just on the GST, cash flow, everything. But some phobia, maybe some bad experience at some time. So that phobia has to be, I can say, taken by the management. They have to give the comfort to the person sanctioning the loan that if you are doing proper thing, no action will be taken. And I can tell you, as a ex-centralite, that we have given in writing to the branch heads. You sanction the loan as per the SOP, nobody will be charged. Even only in those, except two cases, there is no should be impersonation, and the employee himself or herself should not do the fraud. So that comfort was given to the branch head for sanctioning the loan. So these type of comforts are required at the field level so that they can take decision fearlessly.
Sir, actually, what I feel, Puri sir, because I know about your style of working and your decision-making ability. I think under your leadership, the Central Bank of India, even Punjab National Bank, have shown a great growth because you are very straightforward and telling very clearly. No need to afraid. So you do as per the rules of the banking sector. I think
Yeah.
that was the important aspect, sir, under your leadership. I still remember Central Bank of India, even Punjab National Bank. You have done a wonderful job. So if leader like you in the banking sector, definitely SME sector or other sector will flourish. They will not be debt of any money. Sir, another point, Mr. Puri, regarding this lending in cash flow lending. Now, most of the banks are stressing on the assets-based lending, and they are telling about the method one, number two, method two, Tandon Chore committee, method one, method two, under you can have a lending assessment of the working capital limit. Now, have any view on the cash flow lending, sir, instead of the asset-based lending?
I think the future of the banking is on the cash flow lending only, because if the borrower is sincere enough and they are having the record of properly paying the GST, so that is the more than sufficient than any collateral security. So many banks have come out with this, and even in IBA also we have been having some, because there is there's the ranking of the banks. So there also we have been stressing that cash flow lending should be encouraged, and but still there are some loopholes, and these type of loans should be through digital platforms, maybe up to some small amount, maybe up to 50 lakh or 20 lakh, 25 lakh. So maybe on mobile app, maybe internet banking. So all these formalities should be online, like we are doing with the personal loans. So that type of facility has to be given to the MSME also, if we really want to, because everything can be cross-checked from GST, income tax department, and with double A, we can take the statement account from any bank. So all the things can be verified. Even 59minutes.com or PSB 59, or now even national portal, they are coming up fast, but that is taking time to be to the full blossom. Once the national portal is functional properly, I think that can help the fast learning.
Very important aspect, Puri sir, you have touched, which I want to tell the GST. GST return is the most important aspect, where you can find out your sale, purchases figure. And even from the account statement, their systems are available, where
Yeah.
you can draft your P&L and balance it also. I think that system already developed. And this digital banking, or you can say, is playing very important role. Some systems are available where you feed your data, automatically sanction, even documentation will be displayed. Some banks, I was just talking to one cooperative bank of the Mumbai, where they're telling me they have developed a system where you can feed away data, if automatically sanctioned, no involvement of the human being. They will, basis of your information, they will give you sanction also. Even they also developing a system where digital documentation can also be available. That means a customer need not to visit to the bank. Automatically loan, maybe 50 lakhs rupees for 1 crore. Let me start a small amount. It can be sanctioned and it can be credited to the party account. I think, Purisa, we are really thankful to you, and I will come back to you. Now I'm coming to Mr. D.S. Rajput. He is youngest entrepreneur. His age is 43, and he's managing director of a company. He has MBA in international business, trade and tax law, B.Tech degree in mechanical engineer. He is a petroleum scholar, eminent professor, dynamic leader, and a social worker. He has been serving the industry for more than 12 years with a diversified international exposure. Presently, he is heading the South Asia Group, and under his dynamic leadership, the group has reached the new heights. He is the main backbone and pillar of the whole group, which is globally doing various operations in upstream oil and gas sector, which is need of the hour. And I think it is an import substitute also. So we welcome Mr. Rajput. You are a big scholar, big entrepreneur, and you also face so many hardships to set up a unit. So I am not asking you any jugglery questions. I am asking your experience in the banking sector because you are a technocrat. You are experienced entrepreneur. So what do you want to give advice to our entrepreneurs who are listening to you? Because in the last, I think 2 years back or 3 years back, you also participated in our discussion. And people still remember you, what you told. So I feel that today webinar should also be memorable webinar as your entrepreneur point of view. So I will not ask any question. I am asking your experience. What is your experience in the banking sector to get a fund? And what is your suggestion to the entrepreneur so that they are facing a difficulty and they can overcome the difficulty? I hand over to Mr. Rajput. Rajput sir, please.
Good evening, Sri K.K. Gupta ji, sir. I really appreciate the kind of webinar you arrange so frequently to help and to guide the entrepreneur, as well as you create a platform where they can interact with the leading banker, especially the nationalized bank, because you rarely found them on a public platform because of their limitations. So I really appreciate Mr. K.K. Gupta, your effort and the effort of Resurgent India. And good evening, Mr. Gupta. Good evening, Sri Ashok Kumar Pathak ji. Good evening, Rajiv Puri ji. Banks are basically, they are the oxygen for any industry. तो हमें तो बड़ा अच्छा लगता है आप लोगों को देखकर और आप लोगों को मिलकर, क्योंकि हमारा पूरा ग्रोथ जो है, जो होल ऑफ द ग्रोथ ऑफ एनी इंडस्ट्री कैन नॉट बी only from his own money, his own pocket money. There is always a requirement of a good bank which can support, and banks are the backbone of the industry. So this is the scenario. And well, sir, before I start, I can see there are a huge number of participants. In fact, there are a lot of people who are watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live whom we cannot see. So, but there are a few questions which you will attend later on. But as my wife says, we'll start with the smallest entrepreneur, with smallest MSME company. क्योंकि हमें ऐसा लगता है कि ऑडियंस में सभी लोग बैठे, तो हमें सबकी प्रॉब्लम सुननी है. हो सकता है कभी-कभी मैं जो एग्जांपल दूं हमारे लिए बहुत कॉमन हो, लेकिन किसी के लिए बहुत बड़ा हो सकता है. माय वाइफ ऑलवेज सेज कि हर एक का अपने लेवल पे छोटा बड़ा प्रॉब्लम होता है. इवन थर्ड में पढ़ने वाले बच्चे का शू का लेस बांधना भी एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम जो उसके लेवल पे है, हमारे लेवल पे नहीं है. तो सर मैं एकदम नीचे ग्राउंड पे जाकर आई स्पीक विद दी ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ द स्मॉलेस्ट पॉसिबल इंडस्ट्री इन एमएसएमई. वहां से उसके प्रॉब्लम से लेके हम आगे तक जाते हैं. सो I hope you people will understand the problem, because you gave so much open heart कि नहीं हम सुनना चाहते हैं. Sir, if I talk about post-COVID era, sir, COVID में सभी लोगों का बहुत बुरा हाल हुआ, especially all the entrepreneur businessmen का. Those who were salaried, they got the salary, but the businessmen they face a really hardship. And then people started coming up. तो सर हमारा भी ऐसा था ड्यूरिंग कोविड. we saw a lot of hardship and there was no business at all, and then the challenge was to keep our team with the company. So we were paying them what we used to pay earlier, but there was no source of income. And then there was, on the other side, it was staggering, or maybe what you say, the time which moratorium was given by the bank for the EMI, so that the cash flow can be maintained. That was a very good step by the government and the banks. But on the other side, then too, the entrepreneur were having problem, or they were having the challenges to pay the GST, pending GST, and to pay the pending EMI all. And the business cannot come to the track all of sudden. वो अचानक नहीं आ सकता. तो उस टाइम पे जितनी भी इंडस्ट्री थी उन्होंने अपने अपने तरीके से किया. हमने सर ऐसा किया कि हमारे लिए सर्वाइवल का प्रश्न था, सभी के लिए सर्वाइवल का प्रश्न था. तो व्हाट वी डिड, वी स्टार्टेड फोकसिंग ऑन द गवर्नमेंट वर्क. तो गवर्नमेंट ने क्या है कि बैंक गारंटी का एक स्कीम लाया था. पहले 12.5% PSU के साथ लगता था, दे रिड्यूस इट टू 3%. So first challenge was to get the work. So we recalculated everything minutely, bank guarantee का भी cost गिन के, and then we went for the aggressive bidding and we got few bidding. अब bidding जीतने के बाद second challenge ये था कि इसके लिए funding चाहिए और balance sheet खराब हो चुकी थी because of COVID. So we went to the bank. Again I'll say that it was government's policy कि आपको वो particular year consider नहीं करना, avoid किया जा सकता है, ऐसा banks में भी था. तो हमारी पिछली बैलेंस शीट के बेस पे दे डिड अस अ स्मॉल फंडिंग जिसके सहारे हम लोग खड़े और आगे बढ़े. लेकिन मेरा एक सजेशन है बैंकर्स बड़े बड़े बैठे उन लोगों को कि सर ये जो फैसिलिटी या जो बैंक का सपोर्ट था ये मेट्रो सिटी में था सर. क्योंकि मेट्रो सिटी में क्या है कि यू पीपल आर सिटिंग, द बिग पीपल आर सिटिंग इन द ब्रांच ऑफिस एंड दे द कस्टमर कैन अप्रोच टू दोज पीपल डायरेक्टली, दे आर इजीली अप्रोचेबल. वेयर इज इन द स्मॉल सिटी जिसका रीजनल और जोनल ऑफिस कहीं और है, दूसरे टाउन में है, और वहां से ब्रांच मैनेजर फाइल तैयार करके भेज रहा है और फिर वो सैंक्शन आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा उसका कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं है. और नॉर्मली स्मॉल सिटीज में ऐसा था सर के जो सीनियर बैंकर्स हैं जो इस पर डिसीजन ले सकते थे, दे आर क्लोज टू द रिटायरमेंट, तो वो रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहते. जैसे आपने कहा था अभी थोड़ी देर पहले जब डिस्कशन वाज गोइंग ऑन, पुरी साहब कह रहे थे कि कोलेटरल क्यों मांगा जा रहा है, तो दे सेड कि बैलेंस शीट साइड उतना सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा होगा तो वी वांट अ सेकंड सपोर्ट, है ना सर. लेकिन उस टाइम पे कोविड के टाइम पे सिचुएशन ऐसी थी कि जरूरत थी लोगों को खड़े होने के लिए, एंड देयर वाज नथिंग दे हैव टू पुट एज ए कोलेटरल. So at that time, it was my experience that we got support from the bank, but there are a lot of friends who could not get. They were also MSME company. So, but somehow we started, and then there were lot many things. वो शायद आपको मैं दूसरे थोड़ी देर बाद में बताऊंगा कि हमने कैसे सरवाइव किया और किस तरह से चीजों को सब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया ताकि फंड को मैनेज किया जा सके, किस तरह से वेंडर्स से क्रेडिट ली गई थोड़े से एक्स्ट्रा रेट ऊपर देकर, ये सारी चीजें हुई. लेकिन मोटे मोटे तौर पे सर जो एमएसएमई में जितनी भी कंपनीज है, जैसे अभी थोड़ी देर पहले आप लोग बात कर रहे थे 5 करोड़ का लिमिट है बिना कोलेटरल के, तो दैट इज बेसिकली सीजीटी एमएससी जो गवर्नमेंट का स्कीम है जिसमें गवर्नमेंट खुद गारंटर बनती है और खुद दिया जाता है. तो मैं अभी जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स जो सुन रहे हैं उनको मैं एक एडवाइस करना चाहता हूँ कि पहला तो आप अपने बिजनेस को बैलेंस शीट को प्रॉपर मेंटेन करिए. आप किसी भी तरह से मुझे टैक्स कम भरना है तो मैं प्रॉफिट को थोड़ा स्क्वीज करूं, ऐसा मत करिए, प्लीज डोंट डू दैट. क्योंकि आप वो करने के बाद में आपके पेपर जैसे बनते हैं जिसमें आपकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी कम दिखती है तो बैंकर को कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आता है. ऑन दी अदर साइड अगर आप इन्वेस्टर भी चाहते हो तो इन्वेस्टर को भी कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आता है. तो आप टैक्स पूरा भरिए, आप जीएसटी पूरा भरिए, जीएसटी में डिले मत करिए. ये दो चीज आप प्रॉपर मेंटेन करेंगे तो बैंक फंडिंग करेंगे. दूसरा जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, अर्लियर आई वाज स्टेइंग इन अहमदाबाद एंड आई शिफ्टेड टू मुंबई. मैंने एक ही फाइल को 2 सिटी में महसूस किया है. उस फाइल को फंडिंग के लिए मैंने अहमदाबाद दिया हुआ है जिसपे मुझे कोलेटरल के सामने 50, 60, 75% से ज्यादा फंडिंग नहीं ऑफर की गई. और उसी फाइल को मैंने मेट्रो सिटी बॉम्बे में दिया है जिसपे मुझे कोलेटरल के सामने 200% तक ऑफर किया गया. तो ये थोड़ा सा फर्क है. तो ये मुझे भी एक थोड़ा सा क्वेश्चन था और मेरा ये सजेशन था कि क्यों छोटे सिटी में बैंकर्स इतने बोल्ड नहीं है, क्यों वो उतना ओपनली आके फंडिंग नहीं कर पाते जो मेट्रो सिटी में होता है, जो आप लोग करते हैं, जो आप अभी बता रहे थे. क्योंकि पाठक साहब जो है सिटिंग इन मुंबई, पुरी साहब जो है सिटिंग इन दिल्ली, आप लोगों ने बड़े बड़े फंडिंग किए हुए, इंडस्ट्री को हेल्प किया. यही चीज नीचे के लेवल तक क्यों नहीं जाती, ये जाना बहुत जरूरी है. क्योंकि एंटरप्रेन्योर तो बहुत छोटा है सर. जितने बड़े बड़े एम्पायर आप देख रहे हैं, जितने बड़े बड़े बिलियनर्स को आप देखते हैं, ये सारे लोग कभी ना कभी छोटे से ही बड़े हुए हैं. पर किसी को सही समय पे आप जैसा ऑक्सीजन मिला है, बैंकर्स का सपोर्ट मिला है, अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है, अच्छी लीडरशिप थी, ऑनेस्ट थे, राइज कर गए. बहुत लोगों में ऐसा पोटेंशियल है पर उनको फंडिंग तो चाहिए सर. आई एम सॉरी मैं
प्लीज
जी.
हाँ
तो
चलिए चलिए सर बताइए सर.
तो सर एक तो ये था. दूसरा ये था सर कि आप मुझे थोड़ी देर पहले पूछ रहे थे ये वेबिनार के पहले कि कोविड में आप लोगों ने कैसे सरवाइव किया. तो यहाँ जितने लोग सुन रहे हैं मैं उनको ये कहना चाहूंगा, जितने भी एमएसएमई कंपनी है, जो छोटी छोटी कंपनियां है ना, पहला तो ये कि जितने बिलियनर की लिस्ट हम पढ़ते हैं, जितने भी लिस्ट हम पढ़ते हैं वो सारे छोटे से बड़े. बच्चा भी पहले पैदा होता है फिर छोटे से धीरे धीरे बड़ा होता है. तो हमें क्या है कि आज जो स्थिति में है तो हमें भी ड्रीम बड़े रखने, लेकिन हमें जो हमारे एफर्ट है वो ऑनेस्ट रखने. मतलब हम अपने काम से, अपनी ईमानदारी से अपने बिजनेस को प्रॉपर ढंग से चलाएंगे तो हमें बड़े होने से कोई नहीं हो सकता. हाँ, कंपटीशन रहने वाला है, पर कंपटीशन को आप आउट ऑफ बॉक्स सोचिए. जो सब सोच रहे हैं वो क्यों सोचते हैं, आप थोड़ा अलग से सोचिए, आप डिफरेंट क्या कर सकते हैं ताकि कस्टमर आपकी तरफ हमेशा अट्रैक्ट रहे. एक और चीज मैं बताना चाहूंगा सर, इससे पहले हम लोग इंटरनेशनल काम करते थे और प्राइवेट काम करते थे। हमने कोविड के बाद गवर्नमेंट के साथ काम शुरू किया, फर्स्ट टाइम ओएनजीसी के साथ में और ऑल इंडिया के साथ में, और अभी हमारा 95% काम उनके साथ ही चल रहा है। दे आर रिच पीएसयू, टाइम से पैसा आ जाता है, सब कुछ सही है। तो मैं जो दूसरे एंटरप्रेन्योर है उनको एडवाइस करूंगा, देयर इज अ पोर्टल कॉल जैम, GEM, आप गूगल कर लीजिए। जैम में सारे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, सारी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की एजेंसी, डिपार्टमेंट, सारे पीएसयू चाहे स्टेट के हो या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के हो, उनकी जितनी भी परचेज है, गवर्नमेंट हर चीज परचेज करती है। बाय एवरीथिंग, वट एवर यू आर मेकिंग, इधर इट इज सर्विस, इट इज एनी प्रोडक्ट और वट एवर, राइट? So any technocrat, I mean all the technology, everything they buy through that platform, the Jam platform. So if you registered yourself on Jam platform and you write about your product, you start receiving the inquiry or tender. आपको टेंडर्स आने लगेंगे, आप अपना बेस्ट रेट डालिए, आप जीतते हैं गवर्नमेंट के टेंडर में, बैंक को कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा, वो आपको फंडिंग जरूर करेंगे एंड देन यू विल राइज। जिनको नहीं पता है वो क्वेश्चन में लिख देंगे, तो आई विल एबल टू शेयर देम अ लिंक थ्रू श्री के गुप्ता जी। Jam is the platform where you can register. You will see a lot of business opportunity there to supply. On the other side, those who are next level, I'm talking about the small level. Now we will talk about the next level. Those who are on next level, let me tell them, if they have completed or covered the Indian market, so it's not saturated yet. Now you start thinking about the overseas. We are self-dependent country, but all the countries are not. They are still importing. They can give better rate. There is a lot of opportunity. The way I just explained you about the Jam platform here, there are a lot of many portal where you can receive the international inquiry, the genuine one, and you can start doing the business with them. सर एक और चीज, बिजनेसमैन जो होता है ना सर, उसको हर प्रॉब्लम में, हर चैलेंजेस में अपॉर्चुनिटी दिखाई देती है। मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ सर, मेरे एक फ्रेंड का कहना है कि जब बिजनेसमैन इज इन इंटीरियर गाय, सर जब 26/11 को ताज पे अटैक हो रहा था, गोलियां चल रही थी, he was saying राजपूत सारी दुनिया टीवी पर देख कर they were thinking अरे ये हो गया वो हो गया। You know what businessmen were thinking? जैसे न्यूज में अरे 1.5 करोड़ का झूमर गिरा, राइट? He started calculating, अच्छा अब झूमर का भी टेंडर आएगा। So businessmen are those people who see the opportunity in the problems, right? Now you just think about there is a war going on in between Israel and Philistine. There was war going on last week between Azerbaijan and Armenia. There is war going on between Ukraine and Russia. Just think about it. We are neutral, right? After this war, Russia is under sanction of Europe. It means he is not going to get any technology, any equipment, any opportunity. रसिया में मार्केट खुला है, हमें वहां पे ढूंढ के सप्लाई करना चाहिए, उनको चाहिए और हमें देना है। हमको इसको ब्रिज को कवर करना है, इसको गैप को कवर करेंगे। देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी ओवरसीज आल्सो। सिमिलरली और भी जगह पे होगा, कंस्ट्रक्शन से लेकर दुनिया भर का। तो मेरे जो फ्रेंड्स जो उसको सुन रहे हैं एंटरप्रेन्योर, मैं उनको कहूंगा अगर वो छोटे लेवल पे, तो पहले यहाँ का जैम पोर्टल से गवर्नमेंट के टेंडर पकड़े आप। जो नेक्स्ट लेवल पे गए वो इंडिया के बाहर एक्सपोर्ट करने का सोचे। इन्हीं एमएसएमई कंपनी में से बिग कॉर्पोरेट बनते हैं, ब्लू चिप बनती है। जितनी भी ब्लू चिप आपको दिखती है, कभी ना कभी छोटी कंपनी। सर वो कहते हैं ना कि आपको 1000 करोड़ या 100 करोड़ गिनना है, तो गिनती हमेशा 1, 2, 3, 4 से स्टार्ट होती है। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद फ्रॉम द स्मॉलेस्ट स्टेप एंड लेट्स रीच टू द हाई। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Rajputji. Start from the smaller step. Then you can think. You can think big.
Yes,
I think
sir.
that is a message what you have given to us. Hey, Rajput sir, you are a industrialist and you have done a great job. You face so many difficulties. You can tell us what is the alternative funds instead of the banking sector. How you survive by taking accept the bank or going to some other institution or a joint venture or a vendor credit you are talking about, or talking about a credit from the creditors. What about the alternative funds you can manage, beside the banking sector? Have any view in that respect?
Yes, sir. During COVID, my previous turnover before that we were doing overseas, so we were doing somewhere around close to 200 crore, 175 CR per year. And then we shifted to India because we saw a huge problem. Our money got stuck in Iran. It was a huge money, somewhere around 45 CR. So when we shifted to India and we were trying to do something, immediately it was a lockdown. And then Indian balance sheet was not sufficient. And then there were the government tender we were looking for, started looking. तो वहां पे ऐसा था कि आपको इंडिजीनियस टेंडर आ रहे थे, तो हमने भरे, लेकिन हमारे पास कैश फ्लो खत्म हो गया था सर। हमारे पास एक ही सपोर्ट था, वो था हमारा रेपो। सर अच्छे टाइम में इंसान को अपनी चीजों को प्रॉपर मेंटेन करके करना चाहिए, ताकि बुरे टाइम में वही उसके काम आता है। सर जो टाइम से पेमेंट हम वेंडर को करते थे और जो टाइम से साइकिल घूमता था, जिस तरह से हम हमारे काउंटर पार्ट को, हमारे सप्लायर को, जिसको हम लोग हमारे बिजनेस पार्टनर बोलते हैं, ट्रीट करते थे, उन्हीं लोगों को जब हमें कोविड के बाद पहला प्रोजेक्ट आया, तो बैंक से तो हमने बैंक गारंटी का अरेंजमेंट कर लिया, क्योंकि बैलेंस शीट उतना ही सपोर्ट कर रही थी। वर्किंग कैपिटल में हमें शॉर्टेज थी, तो हमने सिर्फ फोकस किया कि हम सैलरी कर पाएंगे, बाकी पैसे नहीं थे हमारे पास में। हमने हमारे सारे वेंडर्स को बुलाया, मीटिंग की, हमने उनको समझाया कि हमें क्रेडिट कितनी दोगे आप। दे सेड कि 90 डेज दे सकते हैं मैक्सिमम। आई सेड नहीं, आप हमें 120 150 डेज का क्रेडिट दीजिए, जब तक हमारा पहला और दूसरा बिल क्लियर नहीं हो जाता। एक बार साइकिल चलेगा तो हम आपके साथ में चल पाएंगे। So they said, no, 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 but it will be a bit difficult for us. Then we said, the way we are looking for business after COVID, aren't you looking for business after COVID? And on the other side, I'm suggesting you to load something. You load your interest. You put a little bit higher rate so that you will be able to provide us the credit. So we pay them some small extra amount, because when you are in trouble, there is no harm in sharing your profit with your vendors, with your suppliers. So this is how we manage with the suppliers, and then the project we expected and the project we won. हमने जितने प्रोजेक्ट जीते सर, वो हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन से ज्यादा थे, क्योंकि बहुत माइक्रो एनालिसिस किया गया था, रेट को बहुत नीचे किया गया था, तो हमें प्रोजेक्ट ज्यादा मिल गए थे, एंड वी वर नॉट इन द पोजीशन टू रन ऑल द प्रोजेक्ट। सो फ्यू प्रोजेक्ट वी सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड। Subcontracted means there were few people whom we talk, we know that they are able. Some people were already doing in the same business, they were already in subcontract. They were new player whom we developed, and then we said that you manage this and we are ready to share our profit. So that is how we got that credit on that side, and so this is how we manage. Physical cash flow we couldn't get it, और हमने वो लिया भी नहीं, क्योंकि सर आपकी अपनी अपनी प्रायोरिटी होती है। अगर आप तकलीफ में है, योर कंपनी इज इन ट्रबल, आप अपनी इक्विटी डाइल्यूट करके यू कैन रेज द फंड। वेयर ऑन दी अदर साइड वी वर नॉट इन दैट ट्रबल कि हमें कंपनी का शेयर होल्डिंग डाइल्यूट करना था। तो हमने सोचा कि टेम्पररी फेस है, हमें इससे निकलना है, क्योंकि एक बार बिलिंग स्टार्ट हो जाएगा 3 4 6 महीने में, चीजें ऑटोमेटिकली स्टेबल हो जाएंगी। वो 6 महीने निकालने के लिए मुझे ये बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं लगा कि मैं अपनी इक्विटी डाइल्यूट कर दूं। तो मैंने फिर मेरे वेंडर्स को, मेरे सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर, उन लोगों के साथ में मैंने क्रेडिट सेट किया। मेरे कैटरिंग के क्रेडिट सेट हुए, मेरे इतना सारा क्रू था। आई हैव अ क्रू सर राइट नाउ अराउंड 700 प्लस। रफली द नंबर ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट वी वॉन, इट वाज अराउंड 1100। उनका कैटरिंग, उनकी गाड़ियों का, ये वो सारी चीजें, उनके मूवमेंट, उनके बेस कैंप्स, उनकी पीपी। I'll mention one of my supplier very proudly. Their name is Gujarat Safety. They are from Bharuch. सर हमारे फील्ड में इंजीनियर्स को पब्लिक ये पीपीई लगता है, पीपी इज द ड्रेस और द काइंड ऑफ बॉयलर सूट दे वेयर द हेलमेट एंड ऑल। इट्स अ सेफ्टी आइटम्स बेसिकली, वो पहन के वो लोग काम करते हैं। सर पीपी का मेरा वेंडर जो जितने लोग थे, उसमें सबसे ज्यादा क्रेडिट मुझे उस बंदे ने दिया, एंड आई सैल्यूट हिम। ही इज देयर सिंस विथ अस लॉन्ग लॉन्ग टाइम। तो उस टफ टाइम में उसने सपोर्ट किया, उसने पूरा, क्योंकि उसके पास भी साल भर का स्टॉक था, उसने पूरा पीपी 6 महीने के क्रेडिट पे दिया, और हमने 6 महीने के बजाय टुकड़े टुकड़े में उनको पेमेंट किया। लेकिन ये सारा चीज सर वो रेपो से आता है, जो आपने टाइमली पेमेंट करके बिल्डअप किया। तो हर एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए जरूरी है कि जब आपके पास कैश फ्लो है ना, तो उस कैश फ्लो को आप इस तरह से मैनेज करके आपके वेंडर आपसे सेटिस्फाई रहे, आपसे खुश रहे, क्योंकि टफ टाइम में वही लोग आपके साथ में खड़े थे। सर जैसे आप किसी कंपनी का टाइम खराब होता है और मार्केट में एक बार ये खबर फैल जाती है कि ये कंपनी तकलीफ में, तो ना तो बैंक उसको लोन देते हैं, ना वेंडर उसको क्रेडिट देते हैं, ना कोई उसको कुछ देता है। तो सबसे पहले आपको उस रेपो को मेंटेन करना है कि आप खत्म नहीं हुए, पहले तो उसको कवर करिए, आप अपनी बैलेंस शीट को मेंटेन। दूसरा सर, जब आपके पास सही टाइम है तो आप ऐसे वेंडर पकड़िए जो टफ टाइम में आपके साथ खड़े रहेंगे। तो थोड़े पर्सनल रिलेशन भी डेवलप करने, तो जो हो ही जाते हैं बिजनेस के दौरान। पर टाइमली पेमेंट सबसे बड़ा सॉल्यूशन है जब आपका अच्छा टाइम है। तो टफ टाइम में वही लोग आपके साथ आके खड़े। मेरे वेंडर से 10-10 साल पुराने, उन्होंने हमें टफ टाइम में खड़ा किया, हमने उनको खड़ा किया, आज सारे खुश। थैंक यू।
Very important, Rajpur sir. I think this is eye opener for the listener also. How you manage from the vendor, from your creditors, and even what you are talking about, that is very important aspect. You can share your part of the profit with your vendors, pay them some interest or something like that. So they are also happy. You also have alternative funds from your vendors. I think this is an important aspect. And you also talk about the balancing, certain thing of the balancing. That is a banker point of view. If your balance sheet is strong, definitely bank will be there. So then you are talking about the GST. If you pay the taxes, I think your balance sheet can be strengthened. Now GST portal has come, so that will be very, you can say, you can assess the bank can assess your working capital limits on the basis of your GST return. Before all purchases or sale figures are being reflected in that. What you were talking about the metro and the small branches, I think we will discuss with Mr. Ashok also, who is with us, who can explain us better for that. So Rajputji, I will come back to you. Lekin one point which I am just want to talk to you, your experience, you share with the other entrepreneurs. Have any advice? Once decide that you have told some balance sheet, something of the balance sheet, taking alternative credit, any other thing in your mind, which your enter because you are a very practical person. So your practical knowledge should go to the listener by entrepreneurs. So have any views, any other views for Mr. Raj?
Sir, I will share the same thing what you people were talking about, but I'll make it much more easier to make them understand. जितने लोग ये सुन रहे हैं सर, वो जो PHB 59 जो पुरी साहब और आप लोग जिक्र कर रहे हैं, तो मैं उसी को थोड़ा इलेबरेट करके बताता हूँ सर, तो बाकी लोगों को इजीली समझ में आएगा। ये PHB 59 जो है, ये पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक में कॉमन प्लेटफॉर्म है फंडिंग लेने के लिए, जिसमें आप अपनी डिटेल भरते हैं, तो उसके बाद में वो आपको बैंक और ब्रांच सेलेक्ट करने को बोलते हैं, और वो सॉफ्टवेयर या वो प्लेटफॉर्म आपका ऑटो कैलकुलेट करके आपकी एलिजिबिलिटी आपको बताता है कि आप 50 लाख के लिए एलिजिबल है या 70 लाख के लिए। उस लेटर को लेके आप उस ब्रांच में जाते हैं, तो वो उतनी अमाउंट तो सैंक्शन होनी ही होनी है। मेरे बहुत सारे फ्रेंड बोलते हैं कि हमें नहीं मिल रहा, समझ नहीं आ रहा ये, तो मैं उनको कहूंगा कि ये PHB 59 जो पोर्टल है, जिसमें सारे पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक है, आई बिलीव सर प्राइवेट बैंक भी है, करेक्ट मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग सर, अशोक सर।
No, sir. PSP 59 पे नहीं है, but there are similar platforms through which online journeys can be done for private banks also.
जी, पर सर मैं मतलब गवर्नमेंट बैंक के रेट बहुत कॉम्पिटिटिव होते हैं इन कंपेयर टू प्राइवेट बैंक। तो PHB 59 में मेरे सारे फ्रेंड्स को जो ये एंटरप्रेन्योर वगैरह सुन रहे हैं उनका एडवाइस करूंगा। PHB 59 का मतलब ही यही है 59 मिनट्स में लोन, तो लेस देन 1 आवर में आपको सैंक्शन लेटर आ जाता है। वो आपका अपना डेटा डाला हुआ उसी के बेस पे आता है। तो अगर आप ये डेटा खुद फिल कर सकते हैं, इट इज फाइन। अगर आप नहीं कर सकते, आप अपने CA को बिठाइए, बैठ के ये डेटा फिल करिए। फिल करने के बाद जो भी सैंक्शन लेटर आता है वो लेकर आप किसी भी बैंक में, जो बैंक और ब्रांच आप सिलेक्ट करेंगे उसमें ऑप्शन है, उसमें लेके जाइए, वो जरूर से उतना फंडिंग होगा। और अगर आपके रिलेशनशिप अच्छे हैं और आपके पेपर स्ट्रॉन्ग है और आपके पास में और प्रोजेक्शन है जिसमें आप बता पाएंगे कि ये वर्क ऑर्डर आने वाला है, जैसा अभी आप लोग बार बार बात कर रहे हैं कि सर क्या होता है, मार्च खत्म होता है, प्रोविजनल बैलेंस शीट बनती, इतना हुआ, और उसके बाद ऑडिट होते होते सितंबर हो जाता है। तो जो साल हमने खत्म किया उस साल के बेस पे फंडिंग लेने के लिए ऑथेंटिक डॉक्यूमेंट तो सितंबर में तैयार होता है। लेकिन ये बहुत अच्छा है कि अभी पोर्टल आ गया है, तो आप मंथ ऑन मंथ जो GST भर रहे हैं वहां से आप अपने एंटरप्रेन्योर की इनकम का एक अंदाजा ले सकते हैं जो जेन्युइन है। तो जो आप लोग बात कर रहे थे, ये सर आज से 4 साल पहले नहीं था। तो बैंक्स डे बाय डे एडवांस होते जा रहे हैं आपकी इनकम को ऑथेंटिकेट और वेरीफाई करने के लिए। तो अब आपको सितंबर नेक्स्ट ईयर तक राह देखने के लिए आपको सेम ईयर में प्रोजेक्शन के बेस पर फंडिंग मिल सकता है। तो PSP 59 का सेक्शन लेटर लेके आप बैंक में जाइए, वहां से आप अपना GST दिखा के थोड़ा और भी एनहेंस कर सकते हैं। तो ये मैं बाकी MSME ओनर को बोल रहा हूँ, इनको सर ये सारा जो ट्रेनिंग और ये जो नॉलेज और ये जो शेयर करना है, ये थैंक्स टू दिस रिसर्जेंट KK गुप्ता सर का प्लेटफॉर्म कि यहाँ पे हो पाता है। अदरवाइज नॉर्मली इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, उन लोगों को ये ट्रेनिंग नहीं हो पाता है। तो दिस इज माय सजेशन फॉर देम। एंड एज फार एज माय टफ टाइम इज कंसर्न, आई ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन, नाउ द टफ टाइम फॉर एवरीवन इज ओवर। गुप्ता साहब, आपको बताते हुए मुझे बड़ी खुशी होगी कि सर कोविड में जो हमारा टर्नओवर था, ये साल हमने उसका 46 टाइम्स तक पहुंच गए हैं।
ओह, कांग्रेचुलेशन,
थैंक यू सो मच,
very
थैंक यू सर।
congratulations, Mr. Rajput. I think entrepreneur like you, I think we must have a good things outside of that, and you are doing an excellent job. And whatever message you have given also is a practical. When we are talking in so many other webinars, people are telling, sir, bank से credit नहीं मिलता, ये नहीं होता, they always complain. Because instead of complaining, you are the only entrepreneur who is suggesting the entrepreneur. So how you should face the difficulty, how you should overcome the difficulty. Instead of always grudging, बैंक से पैसा नहीं मिला. Any benefit you will say, बैंक से पैसा नहीं मिला हमें. सिर्फ this is the thing. If any account will restructure, सर बैंक ने मुझे पैसा नहीं दिया, sanction होने के बाद ही पैसा नहीं दिया. So people are telling like that. I think you are the only person. We'll come back to you. Now I'm coming to Shri Ashok Kumar Pathak sir, who is Chief General Manager, Retail, Agriculture, SME, and Financial Inclusion. He is heading the Bank of India and joined the bank in 1992. He is a qualified person. He is CIB, Advanced Management Program Banking and Financial Services. And he was a branch head. He was heading Forex. He was heading operation. He has been awarded Best HR Leadership Award by the Asian HR Leadership. Bank of India has got the entry into Forex 2021 World Best Employer list. As HR head in the bank transaction HR side, set right the promotion calendar for the promotion process for completing the process before 31st March, saving 1 year for all the officers after 2 decades in Bank of India. And he's expert. He always helpful to the SME sector, agriculture sector, and financial inclusion. So he's very, very helpful to the SME sector. So we welcome Mr. Pathak. The major aspect which Mr.
Thanks, sir.
Pathak was taking about metro and small branches. He's talking about the when he is giving file to the metro and when he is giving file to a small branch, there is vast difference. Have any view on the Mr. Pathak on that respect?
Sir, your sound is little feeble. If you can please speak little loudly. I could not hear it properly.
Okay, I'm sorry for that if you are not got it. So my point is that as a Rajput, you are getting me, sir?
Yeah, now it's okay, sir.
Mr. Rajput were telling the metro and small branches, small places, you can say tier 1 city.
Yeah.
So there is vast difference. When they are going to metro, their proposal expedite and 2, 3 times, 4 times of the collector security, they are getting the money. When he going to a tier 1 branches, they are giving 40% or 50%. Have any view on that respect, Mr. Pathak?
Yes, sir. I think it was very, very. First of all, sir, thank Gupta sir for giving this opportunity to share this platform with very, very eminent speakers like Puri Saab and really a very successful entrepreneur like Mr. Rajput. So thank you for giving this opportunity. So coming back to your question, I think it was very right on part of Rajput Saab to observe that the behavior or maybe the approach towards SME customer or for that matter any borrower customers at the controlling officers level or maybe at senior officers level and at the small rural branches level, it's completely different. And I mean, okay, like for any branches, I mean, any bank, 5,000, 6,000 branches, it's very difficult to control, I can say, behavior at the branch level. And the risk appetite, I should say, individual to individual, it varies. And that is why they behave differently with the customer. So to address this problem, I think as of now, I think all the banks have addressed this issue because all the banks are having centralized processing centers for these loan accounts. So as of now, I mean, it's not the branches which are processing these SME proposals, or maybe for that matter, I mean, whether it is a retail banking, retail credit product, or it is a SME product, or it is an agri product. In Bank of India, everything is happening through a, I can say, centralized processing center, which are available at even at tier 1, tier 2 cities at smaller places. So, like for a group of 15 to 20 branches or 25 to 30 branches, there is one processing center where these loan proposals are being processed and those applications are, I mean, those proposals are being processed and sanctioned. So this issue has been addressed to larger extent by this verticalization, which we call, or maybe setting up processing centers. And those processing centers, if you find the behavior, to train them, to educate them on any product or any process, it is easier. And by and large, the customer experience at these processing centers is almost the same, whether it is operating. Of course, I mean, there may be few little variations, but by and large, it remains the same. Educating, suppose for Bank of India, educating 200 processing center, it becomes very, very easy to educate them about the product, to educate them about the process, or to educate them about how to approach any issue or any credit related proposal, or how to address the issues or any aberrations which come economy and in generic term at large, like COVID-like situation, how to handle those kind of situation, how to support the customers in those times. So those things have been addressed through this centralization process, and it has happened all across, whether you take agri or you take retail credit or you take SME. So that's thing which is happening. Secondly, I should say that lot of, larger part of problems comes, it comes due to information asymmetry between the customer and the bank. And thanks to formalization of economy, thanks to several digitalization of processes, especially at the information providers level. Suppose it is tax related data, we were talking about GST related data. Mr. Rajput was telling, even the data from the GEM portal, income tax related data. I suppose the promoter or the proponent is having an account in some other bank, through account aggregator, even that account related details without in a credible fashion, those information can be sought at the sanctioning level. And then setting rules around, if information asymmetry is not there, setting rules around those sanction processes, it becomes very, very easy. And I think, the way fintechs are supporting in this, the way ecosystem is developing around plugging all this information gap, things are evolving in a much better way. Of course, it has not been earlier so, but things are evolving in a much, much better way. So to Rajput Saab's question, only thing I can say, to larger extent, this problem has been solved. One, by centralizing the processing system and creating that vertical across the bank. And secondly, using fintechs and digital in a significant way to plug the information gap, so that entire sanctioning of loan or any credit proposal, it becomes rule based, and role of discretion is minimized to the possible extent. That gives confidence, not only, if it is not discretion based decision making, Puri Saab, the way earlier he was telling that, okay, it addresses the fear psychosis side of at the bankers level, that if it is a rule based decision, it is easier to take for a banker. If the element of discretion is, of course, it cannot be eradicated in a business like situation. But if its role of discretion is reduced to the possible extent, decision making becomes easier and more objective.
Very nice, Pathak sir. I think this is center processing center. Rajput sir has come out to play a very important role. With the uniformity in every place. I think it might be long back where the rural branches or small, because they are not understanding all the things, some difficulty might be there. Or traditional banking, they are following up.
Yeah. So just to supplement the points, sir, Joel, like in Bank of India, what we are doing, especially for SME on SME side.
Sir.
Up to 10 lakh, all loans are digitalized. So it is you have to put your information in the digital system, as the Rajput sir was telling, the PSB online. It's not PSB online. similar platform, you have to put your information, give all the information, and it is the system which gives you sanction or reject within, I mean, it is not even 59 minutes, it is within 15 to 20 minutes. The BRE runs and it gives you the response whether your loan is sanctioned or not sanctioned, including documentation. Most of, I mean, e-signing and documentation is also happening through digital mode. So up to 10 lakh, where, I mean, branches are involved, or where any I mean element of discussion is there, that part is taken care by digitally. And above 10 lakh, of course, it is I mean the centralized processing center, they are handling the credit applications, and they are dealing in a I think their behavior part is standardized to a larger extent.
Very great initiative, I think Bank of India is taking regarding the decentralized, you can say, digital lending platform. Sir, beside your scheme, Bank of India scheme, have any approach at the assessment of the limits for the SME sector, credit assessment or rating or anything in respect of credit rating, or you can say risk assessment? How you assess the working capital limits for a SME sector as a Bank of India?
Yeah, yes, sir, I would like, okay, this, I will take this question in two parts. One is that, okay, what is happening as of now today? And secondly, I would like, what is the direction where we are moving, and what is the thought process when we are, I mean, at this point of time.
Sure.
So as of now, whatever is happening, I can say, okay, 3-4 areas where we have already, I mean, made a specific progress while assessment of limit, like up to 5 crore, we have made that, okay, for assessment of limit, it is only your GST turnover what is required. So, I mean, you just give your GST data. Based on that, I mean, certain, say we are taking 1 quarter of your sales, that can be taken as a, that can be given as a working capital limit. And second is, I mean, similarly in, say, in export credit, what we are taking that, okay, based on your working capital cycle, okay, how many days of, I mean, stocks, and at the book debt side, what is the outstanding? Based on that, even if it is a 6-month cycle, 6-month cycle is being financed. So we are coming with these kind of, I mean, I can say custom-made product. But having said, sir, I mean, we have observed that one size fits all doesn't, I mean, solve the problem. Because for a trader, maybe, okay, 90 days working capital cycle may be too long. I mean, generally where trades happen within 1 month or so. For him, even 1 month sales figure as a working capital limit is sufficient. But for a manufacturer, it may not be enough. Your manufacturing cycle, suppose it goes 6 months or 9 months, so they need more working capital limit. Secondly, I mean, as Rajput Sahab was telling that, okay, are the kind of business he is in, maybe when the project, he takes project from the government, and entire project cycle, if it is of longer tenure, it has to be financed accordingly. What we have observed, even trade to trade, I mean, from industry to industry, say textile industry, maybe working capital cycle is not the same, which may be for electronics industry, or maybe similar for any FMCG item. So we are now, we are engaging with the agencies like CRISIL, like DNB, like ICRA, where we are using their research data and to come out with industry specific customized products. And to I can to come out what kind of working capital cycle is there in that particular industry, and accordingly finance those industries. So that is the direction part of it. As of now, what we are doing, taking GST as such, and based on that we are giving. because that is easy to digitalize, that is easy to handle as far as assessment and delivery from these our processing centers are concerned.
I think, sorry, you are talking about the GST data. On the basis of GST data and purchase of sale, you are assessing a working capital limit.
Right, sir.
Major point which I asked Mr. Puri sir also regarding the cash flow lending. Have any view of the cash flow lending in your bank? Whether you have started something in that respect?
Yeah, sir, this question is to me.
Yes, sir. You please.
Yeah. So, sir, cash flow again. I mean, cash flow has to. I take it this way. That number one, that I mean, let us take GST is also a kind of cash flow based lending, that what kind of turnover he is doing, and based on that turnover he is being financed.
Sure.
And going more scientific into it, that okay, while assessing the cash flow, finding that at what stage what kind of cash flow gaps are there, and to finance those gaps. This is the second. And for that, what is required, what is the most, I can say, the crucial aspect for any banker to finance on cash flow, so have complete visibility on the cash flow. So
Right.
that visibility over the, not only visibility, even if there are arrangements or there mechanism to escrow those cash flows. These are the two things which becomes important. Number one, having complete visibility over the cash flow, and secondly, if there are any mechanism to have, or to have any kind of control through escrow mechanism over those cash flows. So good thing is, I can say the good news is ki, as of, I mean, when we are talking today, there are various ways to have visibility over cash flows for, say, I mean, for comparatively larger firms. Today, GST data is one of the visibility when we are we can see that okay, what kind of sales and purchases are happening. And similarly, sales and I mean, their creditor cycle, their debtor cycle, and what kind of gaps it is putting, I mean, maybe during the year, what is the maximum amount of cash flow gap which need to be financed. Then next thing comes ki, okay, what could be, I mean, to give a kind of comfort to the bankers, what kind of control over this cash flow can be exercised by the banks, and whether any escrow arrangement or any escrow services are available today to ensure control over the cash flows for the bank. Only thing bank's expectations are that these cash flows should flow through the account of the customer in the lender bank. That's the only expectation I think any banker has. So good news is that today there are fintechs who are bringing these kind of services, who are ready to provide these kind of services. When you, in addition to having providing you visibility over cash flows, they are providing even digital escrow services also. And I think going forward, this would be one of the bigger comfort for the banks, and on which lending products can easily be bundled.
Very nice, very nice. Patil sir, one or two questions, Patil sir, is there. For SSI, government rate of interest 8.5% last 2 years, ODID 10.8%. Whether this SME sector, they are charging 10.8% at present.
Yeah, sir, let me take it this way. I think the rate of 8.5% when repo was at 4.5% or 4%. So
Right.
all of us know that okay, last interest rate cycle, within I think 18 to 21 months or maximum 24 months, repo has moved from 4% to 6.5%. So 2.5% movement in repo rates or policy rates by Reserve Bank of India. And ultimately this transmission happens, Johan. And I think probably that's the reason when it has moved from very moderate rate of around 8.5% to now it is, for public sector banks, this rate is somewhere around 10 to 10.5%. And looking at the deposit cost of the incremental deposit cost for the bank, which is, I mean, now the declared or maybe published rate is around 7.25 to 7.5%. I think this is the minimum which banks have to charge to keep them afloat.
This biofuel plant setup, funding is available?
Yeah, sir, biofuel, again, this is one of the priority, I can say, areas and all the green energy initiative, green energy projects also. The only caution I should take, okay, there is a lot of mortality in this this segment, and the good entrepreneurs, but with significant amount of margin are their own promoters' contribution that is being financed by the banks.
Okay, very nice. Biofuel, no problem at all, I feel.
Not at all. I think this is one of the priority areas, sir.
This is priority area, there is no
Yeah.
issue for that.
Yeah, correct.
So another question is there, if we require a loan of 10 to 15 lakh rupees, what rate of interest will be charged?
Okay.
This webinar is not for that.
Yeah. No, but still, I think.
If you want to reply, you can reply.
It will be 10%, something plus or minus. That's the only thing.
That is the only thing. You already explained.
Yeah.
But sir, for you, there is one
Depending,
question.
I think only thing, since there are entrepreneurs, they need to be educated.
That's it.
That ultimately your interest depends on your credit rating, and what Rajput Sahab was telling, you have to ensure strength of your balance sheet, because on your balance sheet, that is how your rating improves, and if your rating is good, you get a better rate of interest. I mean, today, even in a personal loan, or suppose you want to take a car loan, or if you want to take a home loan, if your CIBIL score is more than 800, you get at 8.3% or 8.4%. But if it is 700, you get it at 9%. So that is how it varies.
There is one question from Mr. Nagaraj for you, Mr. Pathak. Has Bank of India implemented CGS scheme? Hello, Mr. Pathak.
Yeah, which scheme, sir?
Oh, the credit guarantee scheme.
This is a credit guarantee scheme for startup, Mr. Pathak.
Startup.
Yeah, it is there. If there is any
Yes,
startup
okay,
on this platform, I am rather inviting them. I mean, give us opportunity to be a partner with you.
It is already implemented. Right?
Yeah, it is implemented. In fact, we have opened there, as of now, there are 3 specialized startup branches. One in Bangalore, one in Delhi, and one in Mumbai. So these 3 specialized startup branches have been opened, who are catering to the requirement of startup businesses. Only thing, your startup should be registered, as a startup company. As of now, we are looking at least those companies, I can say on with a little preference, which are EBITDA positive at all.
Right.
So those to make them bankable, they should be not necessarily net profit, but at least EBITDA positive they should be. And based on that, we are ready to be partnered with any startup story.
Very nice, Pathak sir. Very nice. I think they know the question.
Now I'm thanking Mr. Pathak on behalf of all the entrepreneur or startup people.
Very nice, right?
Yeah, sir, okay. While telling them, okay, let me tell you, just to ensure that our presence in startup ecosystem is good, and how to reach out. This week only, we have especially requested for data from DPIIT of all 98,000 registered startups. Next step, what we are going to do a kind of due diligence on entire list, and to reach out on proactively to all those startups which are EBITDA positive.
Very nice, very good. Now, lastly, I'm coming to our mentor, Mr. Puri. Puri sir, have any last word to entrepreneur, if any advice you want to give to our entrepreneur who is listening to you? Any advice from the banking side? If you can give, please, last word to our entrepreneur. Puri
Yeah,
sir.
I will only say, like Rajputji have also told, that they have to maintain their books very, very clean, and they have to make their repo. I will not use the word diversion of fund, but sometimes what is happening, even the genuinely they are diverting the funds. Suppose they want to purchase some machine. So instead of taking a loan for the machine, they will use the working capital. And later on, that creates a problem. And of course, if some delay is there from the banking industry, some bank problem is there, you take the machine, then you take the reimbursement. Every bank has a policy that can be reimbursed within 6 months. And one thing more, I will say that government has come out with a very good scheme of trades. In trades platform, there's a capacity of almost 10 lakh crore that should be done on trade platform. But only 1.5 lakh crore is being done. And people are hesitant or they are having lack of knowledge or what is the problem. They are not coming to the trades platform. So that is the very good liquidity form. And another, I will say that they have to be very honest to the bank. And if some problem is there, some stress is there, they should go to the branch. They should discuss with the branch head, maybe regional head or circle head, and they should take the advice because bank is the partner with their business, almost 75%. 70 to 75% bank is the partner. So bank is the bigger partner. So they should tell the problem to the partner instead of covering them up. So that can, at least bank can give a solution. At least a good branch mayor or good branch regional head, bank regional head, they will give good advice and they can be out of problem, whether additional funds are required, some restructuring is required. And for MSME, all the facilities and all the rules are there that they can be given additional loan even under stress house. That is my advice from
Very,
as a
very
banker point
important,
of
very
view.
important advice, Puri sir. You have given
Yeah.
no diversion. At least you want a term loan, take against the machinery, don't divert to your working capital to acquire the fixed asset.
Yeah.
I think that is being done by some entrepreneurs that can be avoided. Mr. Rajput, have any last word, Rajputji, to your friends who are listening to you? Rajput sir. Rajput sir.
Sorry, my mic was mute. I was just listening very
No
carefully.
problem.
No problem.
Yes,
sir. It's basically both the banking gentlemen, especially Mr. Pathak. He explained it in detail, and you'll surprised to know that when he said that they have set up especially the CGSS partner, and then the word he used that we would like to partner it out with you people. It really gave me a spark. मैं ये सोच रहा था कि जब हमने शुरू किया था हमें ऐसे बैंकर क्यों नहीं मिले
अभी भी अवेलेबल है अभी भी अवेलेबल है
अभी भी अवेलेबल
अभी भी अवेलेबल है
अब तो बाय ग्रेस ऑफ गॉड और नेक्स्ट लेवल पे तो बड़े फंडिंग पे जाएंगे लेकिन सर ये बहुत अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है दे हैव टेकन अ गुड इनिशिएटिव टू सपोर्ट द स्टार्टअप एंड ऑन द अदर साइड एज राजीव पुरी सर सेड इट इज रियली अमेजिंग that they are helping the MSME and again they want to give the further funding or additional funding if they are under stress. So these are all the government scheme which these banks are implementing religiously. Sir, again यही बात है मैं इसको पकड़ के तो नहीं बैठा लेकिन ये फैक्ट बता रहा हूँ because these people are the senior most people who sits in the head office or maybe in the zonal or the cluster office. आज भी सर छोटे सिटी में छोटी कंपनीज हैं उनको सर नीचे लेवल पे जो है वहां से उनको प्रॉपर एजुकेशन प्रॉपर हैंड होल्डिंग अगर मिलता है दे कैन क्रिएट वंडर. सर अब ऐसा है ना कि बड़े बड़े जो बिजनेसमैन है वो सारे बॉम्बे बैठे हैं लेकिन फिर भी अदानी अहमदाबाद में पैदा होता है ना
इसे
तो-
राजपूत अहमदाबाद में पैदा हुआ
अरे सर थैंक यू सो मच
पैदा भी हुआ वहीं पे ही है अदानी.
तो मेरा कहने का मतलब ये कि इंडिया के कोने कोने में है कंपनियां पोटेंशियल है दे कैन क्रिएट वंडर. उन्हें प्रॉपर हैंड होल्डिंग चाहिए बैंक का जो अगर मिलता रहे तो दे विल डेफिनेटली डू. और ये फैक्ट है सर मतलब ये काफी लोग जो आकर कहते हैं कि हमें बैंक सपोर्ट नहीं कर रही तो सर उनके पेपर में कमियां होती है, मैं मानता हूं उनके पेपर में कमियां हो सकती हैं, पर कहीं कहीं पे क्या है कि बैंकिंग लेवल पे जो बहुत नीचे बॉटम ब्रांच मैनेजर जोर लगा देता है सर, आपकी फाइल तैयार करके ऊपर रीजनल लेवल पे, वहां पे जो बोल्ड डिसीजन लेने हैं उनको थोड़ा सा ये स्पार्क करने की जरूरत है। जो जो जिगरा फंडिंग करने का या जो चौड़ापन मेट्रो सिटी के मैनेजर्स में है, वो छोटे शहर में आज भी मिसिंग है सर। उस पे काम करें, द कंट्री विल बिकम अ सुपर पावर। और जैसा पुरी साहब ने कहा 5 ट्रिलियन तो कुछ नहीं, 5 ट्रिलियन नथिंग, वी विल डू 25 ट्रिलियन if all will be supported in a very well manner.
Very nice, Rajput sir. Very nice. I think you have covered everything. Now I'm coming to lastly Shri Ashok Pathak sir. Pathak sir, your advice to our listener.
I think, sir, both, I mean, from banker side, Puri Sahab has told, and from Rajput Sahab, I mean, entrepreneur side, Rajput Sahab has told. Only thing, the advice, I think, in my last 31 years career, which I had always been giving to any unit which I had financed. I always used to say, boss, means you are embarking on a journey जहाँ पे problems आएंगी. It's not that कि problems नहीं आएंगी, वो जब नाव में आप बैठे हो तो ये बीच में जो है ये उथल पुथल करेगी, लेकिन छोड़ के भागना मत. Or I can say one of the biggest comfort which any entrepreneur can give, because I mean failure is not an stigma. Businesses fail doesn't matter, जो है fail equitably and fail with, I mean, fighting with all the adversities. That's the only thing I would say. वो क्या होता है सर ना, जब मतलब वो सामने दिखने लगता है, तो many a times I find, I mean, it's sorry, maybe I may be little subjective on this, but मैंने देखा है कि बैंकर से पहले एंटरप्रेन्योर्स उस प्रोजेक्ट को they just I mean give it up. So that is something, I mean, that's the only advice I would like to give. As Rajput Sahab was telling from his own story, had he not ensured that okay, all his suppliers are paid in time, or maybe whatever promise he has paid, it is not being paying in time, but whatever promise he is making, I mean, honoring that promise, that gives huge confidence to all your stakeholders, all your partners, whether it is banker, your supplier, or for that matter any vendor or your employee, anybody. People are ready to stand up in your adversities only when you are ready to stand up in your adversity. If you are ready to run away, I mean, probably no stakeholders or no partners will stand up with you. So that's the only advice I should say, sir.
Very nice, sir. At the end, I think I already overstretched the time, because my webinar always says about 15 minutes or 70 minutes, or we are overstretching it. Thank you all my eminent speakers, our mentor Shri Puri sir, Shri Ashok Pathak sir, and Mr. Rajput. I think we enjoyed talking to all practical views of our participants. Instead of going for theoretically what is the percentage, what are the achievements, what are the deficits, we have not touched that point. We touched what are the necessity for the entrepreneur. I think this is a unique webinar which we hold, we talk from our heart. I am really thankful today on behalf of Resurgent India, not by behalf. So I am thankful to all my eminent speakers. Today, actually, we also missed the conversation with our Mr. Rohit Rishi, who is designated ED of Bank of Maharashtra. At present, he is a CGM of Indian Bank. So, unfortunately, he lost his mother today. So, on this platform, actually, I was thinking that I should postpone this program today, therefore this still on the request of my other people, because people are there, more than 1,000 registration is with us, we should not postpone, we should carry on. So I express my condolence to the Mr. Rohit Rishi for the demise of his mother. So I am thankful to all the office secretary, my helper, my friends, Mr. Rohan, Mr. Bishwas, Mr. Yogesh, Mr. Lokesh, and other who is not visible over the screen. I think it is their effort which we have completed 200 webinars under the Research in India banner. Research in India is merchant banker and investment banker. We are a financial advisor also, and we are government advisor also. We are conducting technical economic viability study and preparing a DPR. If any entrepreneur require any requirement, so Research in India is on your disposal. So with this word, I appreciate my participant also, who always give me good feedback and also giving me suggestion how to improve this webinar. So I request all my participants give their honest feedback so that we can give further such webinars to the all the person. At the end, thank you very much to all my eminent speakers, all my participants, and all my team members who had done a wonderful job to have this 200 webinar completed. With this word, I close the session. Thank you very much. I'm really
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Brisha. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you
Very
so
much.
much.
It was really amazing talking to
Thank
you
you.
all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for giving this support.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.